interesting topics. Yes? So we are gonna start back up our speakers, and we're gonna kick it off with a big old bang. We are bringing onto the stage Frank CURZIO from CURZIO Research on how to easily make millions within the metaverse, or raise millions for your metaverse project, to be more specific. Everybody, give it a big round of applause. Frank CURZIO from CURZIO Research.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, let's go!
So how you guys doing? I spoke yesterday at whatever event that was. I think I forgot already because I was out late last night. But the title is How to Easily Raise Millions for Your Metaverse Project. And a lot of people I've been talking to here have brilliant ideas. But when it comes to the capital raise part, it's difficult because you have to structure it the right way. So it was a topic I wanted to cover because we raised $6 million for our company and allow us to make one of the largest land purchases, which just got beat out, I think, a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to teach you guys from my mistakes. So let's start with this. How do we get here? Because at this stage, it's amazing how much money is flowing into this industry. So 2018, Ready Player One, the book came out before that, but the movie highlighted a glimpse of the metaverse, even though it wasn't a good ending in terms of the potential for the metaverse. Facebook, Horizon, merging their groups, but still they called it more that Oculus, it was virtual. It was still a virtual platform. They didn't really use the word metaverse too much. Then we had Decentraland in 2020. Picked up a lot. We had COVID, a lot of people home, and then people were like, wow, this is awesome, getting used to it, and then you realize the graphics aren't that great. Still, not really a lot of adoption. Then you had this event. Facebook changed its name. This was a game changer. And it's something that I haven't seen before. I've been covering industries for 30 years. And once they made this announcement, Wall Street started getting interested. And I have access to all these reports. It's a lot of money, but Morgan Stanley wrote a 30-page report highlighting that this is an $8 trillion market. You have Goldman, 29-page report, $12 trillion. Citigroup, 184-page report, $12 trillion. My background's from Wall Street. The people and their clients they're writing to are filthy rich. These are the people that you want into crypto. This is where the money is. This is the trillions of dollars, right? So I really take this with a grain of salt because anybody can predict anything, right? Everybody have any prediction? We talk about EVs. Ford predicted that they'd have 2 million on the road by now, and I think they had 4,000 and they would call them all. You can't really get an EV, it's almost impossible, right? It's Tesla. So what interests me was this. So they're calling this a $10 trillion trend on average, $10 trillion. So we're at the Consumer Electronics Show. I come here every year for the past 10 years where almost every technology company, and this is just a small area, as big as it sounds, this is 4 million square feet, and it's packed with 4,000 plus companies that announce all the technologies, all the products they're going to launch over the next couple of months. So I've covered all these, invested in these, my investors invested in these, got in early. And if you look at the size of these trends, because I know a lot of you are familiar with 5G, 1.6 trillion AI, 1.5 trillion cloud, massive 1.5 trillion EVs, $800 billion. So if you put those combined, look how much it is. Now you have Wall Street saying that this is going to be a $10 trillion trend. Someone's been doing this for a long time. I've never seen this happen so quickly. So now we got to this conference and we're like, well, there's adoption here. It's still going to take a while. That's what I thought. Look at these numbers, or just that number. $120 billion in investments has flowed into the metaverse so far in 2022. That's a massive amount of money. Trillions is a massive amount of money. Might not sound like a lot when it comes to trillions because we just spent trillions from COVID, right? Flood of the market, inflation. Anyone check into that hotel? You thought you paid for it, they charge you whatever resort fee. I went out last night, I paid $25 for a drink. We've seen inflation, trillions. Now you're looking at the investments coming in. This is what you have to pay attention to. This trend is not coming, it's here. And the people that are investing it are the people who own the internet. which is interesting. There's Facebook, 3 billion users, controlling the internet. Google, massive investments. Apple, massive investments, all coming into this right now. This is a number that you should be focused on because that's your money, if you come up with the right idea. $120 billion. Think about that for a minute. What's 1% of that? $1 billion, 0.5% of that. It's a lot of money. So if you're looking to raise $1 million, you have Anderson Horowitz just launched a fund and raised $4.5 billion, like that. We're kind of in a recession right now. So someone's been doing this for a long time. You don't see money like this being raised, especially in this type of market, especially with a trend like this. It happens so fast that it's here. It's not coming. People are like, well, I see this in 3 years. I see this in 5. It's here. They're investing in it right now. So I want to teach you how to get a piece of that pie. This way you can buy me a beer for the rest of my life. There you go. So how to get a piece of the pie? I try to get creative here. Simplify, structure, share. Just 3 things. That's all you really need to focus on. How it works. Okay, this is from a presentation. I think the name's on the bottom. I wanted to hide the name. This is the first page. They're pitching their company. This is the very first page. So a lot of you are in crypto, and when you see a white paper, right, yeah, you might be familiar with it. Your goal is to increase the total addressable market, and by doing that, you have to simplify. You have to simplify, because people are not going to invest in something they don't understand. So when I see deposit crypto, create CDP, they don't even say what CDP is. Create a stable coin. I got to create a stable coin? I don't even know anything. What are you talking about? I never bought crypto before. And let me tell you, if people didn't buy crypto, there's people sitting on millions and millions and millions of dollars that want to invest. They want to get educated. They like crypto. So as your job, you have to explain to them. But look at this. I mean, closed CDP auction. It's basically a lending company. Who's going to invest in this? Maybe a few people that understand or in the business. But it's kind of like the Michael Lewis theory. A lot of you are probably familiar with Michael Lewis, Moneyball. Michael Lewis got my mother to go see Moneyball at the movies, which is about baseball and statistics, which is the 2 most boring things on the planet. Because he simplified it, and he created stories around Billy Bean, and you wanted to go there, it was great, everybody doubted him. You have to create stories behind this. That's what's going to get people interested. So structure. We created a structure, security token. We did it in 2020 and raised $4 million for our investors. We were very upfront with them. This is the most important thing. When you're looking to raise money, a lot of people think it's about you. It's about me, I want to raise money, they're great. This corporation is great. You have to think about your investors. You have to create something. You want them to share the journey with you and participate. Why? Because there's several of you watching this right now that are actually going to be successful and sell your company. And when you do, you're still an entrepreneur. You're going to start another company. And I guarantee you, every person that invested in your company, you can call them up and say, hey, I'm starting a company. They won't even ask you what the company is. And they're going to write you a check because they trust you. And I see this mistake all the time, where when it comes to structure, it's a terrible, terrible, terrible structure for them. Where if you have a utility token, I can't tell you how many utility tokens that don't have a utility. If you don't have a utility, why am I investing in you? What's the utility function? What's the investment? So how many of my investors or people that follow me are here in the audience? Okay. So, Chris, how long have you been following me for? How long have you been following me for? Don't tell everybody how old I am. So if I go through and I ask all my investors, have I been wrong since you followed me? Honestly, have I been wrong? A couple times. So almost everyone here has followed me for 10, 15, 20 years. Why? Because I never fuck my investors, ever. Because your name is the most valuable asset. And I see so many people start a company, they'll raise $1 million, $2 million, and you think it's a lot of money, and so you buy a Lamborghini and whatever, and it's gone. And now what do? What's your next project? Because you destroyed your name. No one's ever gonna invest in you again. So you wanna have these people share the journey with you. I mean, how important is that, right? You wanna make your investors money. They're like your family. It's okay if you're wrong. Will this work out? I don't know. I'm betting a lot of money it's going to work out. I hope it works out. But if it doesn't, you have to be upfront with your investors and create a structure that makes sense. And especially if it's a token, especially if it's a Reg A offering, which I'm not crazy about, I would always do a real quick, a Reg A offering and Reg A plus, you get regular investors, you bring on a lot of risk in terms of litigation risk. Because those are the people that are gonna call the SEC if things don't go right, or if they lose, their life savings could be a couple $1,000s. When we created this token, we did a security token, and it was for accredited investors. So when you're an accredited investor, you have nothing to worry about, no matter what. I've invested in tons of deals, I'm an accredited investor. If I lose my money, they say, oh, too bad, you don't have risks. And that's very, very important. Because when you deal with legal stuff, it's very costly. More importantly, it takes your focus off the creativity of the business. So, I can't wait to get the feedback from this. When you create something, give away equity. I know what you're thinking. The metaverse is so popular, it's great because we're fighting for equity, we're fighting for ownership, right? Because we know that we don't have ownership. You can have 10 million YouTube followers, you can have, my podcast, Wall Street Unplugged on iTunes, we get about 250,000 downloads a month. But Apple could shut us off. They own it. And they can come to our website and listen to it, but YouTube channels are 3-4 million. If you say the wrong thing, they just shut a button. Click it, boom, you're gone. Right? So you want to give away equity ownership. Because with the metaverse, and I know it's hard with the metaverse, because you're fighting for this. I want I want ownership of my own stuff and NFTs, and I get it. Here's why. We made the largest virtual real estate purchase in history. Again, up to like 2 weeks ago. We chose TCG because I've done a lot of research, and these guys are the greatest metaverse in the world. I love what David's doing, and I did a lot of research on them. We could have invested in anybody with that money, right? Our sales this year is $3 million. So a lot of people want equity, especially if they're employees. I want equity, I want equity, I want equity. And a lot of people don't want to give equity, but I could say 99.9% of people don't understand equity. I don't even explain it to you. So this year we did $3 million in sales. I did $3 million in sales. How the hell did I purchase $5 million in real estate? It's because when we did the security token, we raised money, we sold off equity 10%. And when we sold that off, it increased your valuation. Just like a publicly traded company in S&P 500. When you're publicly traded, usually if you're private, depending on the industry, you'll trade at three times net income. Or you might be trading 3-4 times sales, depending on the industry and technology. When you're a publicly traded company, they trade at 20 times earnings. So your valuation is much, much, much higher. So our valuation of our stock is trading at $65 million valuation. So now I could use our stock as currency to purchase and to build our company. That's why companies go public. And we're publicly traded on T0. You can buy our stock right now. And all of our investors who came in are long-term. I own 65% of the company. They know I'm not going anywhere. And our token, I think, is trading at 640 today. It came out on T0 in February at 7. So we're down whatever, 8%, 10%. The rest of the market in crypto, everything else down 40, 50%. Because we have really good investors. So what we were able to do is now I did a partnership with TCG. And said, I love what you do. Let's do a cash and stock deal. I did it on purpose. Why? Because I want David to be an investor in my company. Because we need help. I need developers. I want to get contacts. I want to build my company. But we have a massive audience of investors who are great, that trust us, because I never fuck them, that want to invest in great ideas. So that's where the partnership comes in. So we were able to do this deal, 2.5 million cash, 2.5 million stock. David is now, and TCG is an owner in our company, which he wants to see that do great. So he's going to introduce us to all of his best contacts, everybody he knows. And I'm going to introduce TCG to everybody, just like all of you, if you have real estate. This is great, right? We want to network and build this up, because there's a lot of people that don't understand this. They're going to be hearing the word metaverse like crazy, and it's our job to simplify it. Because it's here. It's not coming, it's here, and it's going to get bigger, and it's going to force you to get in. Just like the digital world did, just like digital advertising. That's what it's about. So if you focus on those aspects, you'll be well ahead of everybody else. And that's based on my experience. I'm not a genius. I made a lot of mistakes. So I'm trying to help you out because I was sitting in your position, looking to raise money. And I had some great people that I could lean on. My late dad was an analyst for 30 years. I've been an analyst for 30 years, and we're making a huge transition where our average age when it comes to demographics was, I don't know, be 65, 60. Now it's a lot younger. We're positioning it because we see the future. This is where it's going to be. And by partnering with people and good projects, I know who's full of shit and I know who's not. And it's important because the people are not the people I'm going to invest in, that we're going to partner with. And there's so many great companies here that I met. Remember, if you just do right by your investors, you're going to have them for the rest of your life. And here's proof. If you go, everybody that raised their hand, I just took one, Tim, a bunch of people. Told me for 10, 20, 30 years. 30 years, getting old. But you never want to fuck your investors, it's so important. Okay, look long term, especially if you have very, very good projects. Okay, so, little transition here for end. So, we are creating a movie. And it's called, I said that word enough, I won't say it again. It's the Metaverse. And it's interesting, because everyone I ask this question to has a different answer. So we're so early in this trend, and that's why it's so amazing to me, someone who covers all these trends, is you're seeing all these different answers and they're all amazing, and you're all right. So the fact that you can't really define it and it's so big, to me, it's unbelievable that $120 billion in investments has come into this industry. So that's a positive, because it's so big you can't really define it with one definition. And we've been asking a lot of people what the Metaverse is, and we put this together for you. What is the Metaverse to you? What is it?
Yeah, Metaverse is like being able to go into a fantasy world and kind of have fun with whatever you want. For instance, like with fighting, being able to go in there and go as an avatar and watch events, like you're there watching the events. Also, too, being able to go in and kind of experience some of the training that fighters have to do through that world.
It's just the next level of technology, taking us into the things that we already find important. The Metaverse is a video game that is connected to real money using crypto.
It's just opportunity, growth, and ownership to me.
The Metaverse to me is unlimited, man. No matter what it is you do, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether you're a business owner, whether you do music, whether you do directing, whether you do sales, marketing, real estate, whatever it is you do, there's a place for you in the Metaverse, man.
So we are the booth right in front. We're looking to partner with you. This movie is not about me. It's not about CURZIO Research. It's about us. We want to get the word out. We all have lots of projects. We're all going to benefit. But right now it pays to partner. Okay? It's not like we're competitors right now and trying to kill each other. And by partnering and the list that you have and sharing lists back and forth, believe me, I've been through this, and if you want to be closed, the Metaverse is open. And by creating that and working with good partners, we'll all become wealthy together. So, I don't know if we can take questions or no? Oh, we're good? Any questions? No questions? Bye. Thanks, guys. Okay, everybody good? Good. The best experience I had in the Metaverse. Wow. It's funny because a lot of it's gaming. And gaming is the entryway. So when we're explaining the Metaverse to people, and it's cool, it's just the gaming, whether it's Oculus or whatever, I mean, that's the initial, right? That's where we're going in. But if you look at gaming, and I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of gaming companies here. Be creative. Epic raised $2 billion. Facebook spending billions of dollars. You're competing with them. It's a $200 billion industry, gaming, right now. And they're talking about a $10 trillion industry, if you're listening to these guys, on average. It's a massive market for everyone. So right now, a lot of the Metaverse is gaming. And the gaming experience, whether it's Oculus or anything else, has been really cool. So.
Here, I got a mic if you guys got questions here.
So you said you invested $5 million into TCG? And that was for was that for anything specific or just for TCG to do what they need to do to make everything happen?
No, so and that's the thing. So for us, it made a lot of sense to where it allows us optionality.